One family, one people, one planet, one love. One family, one people, one planet, one love. One family.
Good morning and welcome to SoulCall Sunday. My name is Lisa Ferrero. I'm so happy to be here with you this morning. The final week of our theme of willingness. Being willing to step in, step up, step forward with whatever it is that you have a special gift in the moment. Sometimes it changes, and we'll explore that as we go deeper into the thought of the day. Welcome everyone who's here live and in person, and welcome Ben Maloney, a musician. So grateful to have live music here at SoulCall Global. So if you are out and about and are ready to join us live, do so. We are here at AIAM, American Institute of Alternative Medicine, here in Columbus, Ohio. But we thank you for tuning in whenever and wherever you're from. Let us know where you're tuning in from. And I want to say this right at the top of the hour. We will not be in person next week, but we will be live streaming. But we'll be back the following week, which will be September 11th. We'll be back in person, and that will also be our food pickup week for our big food drive. So I want to thank everyone for your contributions to SoulCall, which enabled us to get some food already, and I'm going to go do some more shopping this week to, round out the many, many bags of food we're going to be offering and distributing. Hey, welcome everybody. Got a whole new crew of people coming in. This morning we're going to start, as we always do, with our Qigong practice. And this morning we're going to welcome Deborah Weisenberger-Lippitz to offer Qigong, which is the art of pulling in energy and recognizing that we're swimming in it all the time, and how to harness that, direct it with our will, and experience more vitality, more presence in ourselves. So welcome, Deborah. And if you're in the room, hi. Find a space to where you could practice some Qigong without bumping into one another. We're going to start that now.
Hello, everyone. We continue with opening our connection through our Qigong practice. So please relax the hands to the sides, either in your healing posture or your standing posture. Look forward, stretching the vision to infinite space. Gather all the healing information, wisdom, and pull it back into the mind's home. And gently close the eyes. Then lift the shoulders, physically moving the shoulders up, tucking the chin, opening the throat, opening a channel of chi inside, moving the shoulders up to the ears. Then slowly relax the shoulders as the chi continues spiraling upward, and we sink into the core of the earth, sinking, shrinking into the core of the universe. Shrinking, sinking, merging all as one. Gently Allow the hands to be pulled upward in front of the face, palms facing each other. Not quite touching. Then open up. A few inches. Now very, very slowly begin to close inward, closing the chi inside the mind's home very slowly, slowly, bringing the chi inside the mind's home, slowly, slowly. Chi closing inside the mind's home, slowly, slowly. At the same time, expanding, opening our inner lighthouse, slowly, very, very slowly. Closing the chi inside, simultaneously opening, awakening. Slowly, slowly, so slow. Deep inside. Closing chi in, the same time opening, awakening our consciousness, our true self, our inner lighthouse, beginning to shine, shine. Bring the palms together, lowering into the praying hands position in front of the chest, and very gently open the eyes, allowing our inner light to shine outward.
Thank you, Deborah. And just finding your way back to your seats. Just taking that good, pulsating, light feeling. I'm going to take that into a meditation. Just keeping your feet on the floor. Feeling the peace, the love, the bliss of each moment. In the stillness of this moment, there is peace, there is peace. In the stillness of this moment, there is peace, there is peace. And I wait and trust and breathe and know. In the stillness of this moment, there is peace. In the stillness of this moment, there is love, there is love. In the stillness of this moment, there is love, there is love. And I trust and breathe and move. In the stillness of this moment, there is love. If you want to sing, it's in the stillness of this moment, there is bliss.
In the stillness of this moment, there is bliss, there is bliss. In the stillness of this moment, there is bliss, there is bliss. And I wait and trust and breathe and breathe and know. In the stillness of this moment, there is bliss. Let's sing peace. In the stillness of this moment, there is peace, there is peace, there is peace. In the stillness of this moment, there is peace, there is peace. So I wait, trust and breathe and know. In the stillness of this moment, there is peace, there is peace, there is peace. Take that into the silence, following the breath, feeling the peace for just a few moments, allowing your consciousness to expand, opening wide, to incorporate more light, more peace, more bliss. Breathing in peace, allowing bliss to fill us to overflowing, allowing our minds to say yes to be a more willing participant with the ability to step forward, putting our soul self in, our whole self. I say yes to this moment, as this moment holds everything needed to trust that the future unfolds with ease and grace. Sometimes the information we need to realize how powerful we are when we are in tune with the source of all things. The God, the goddess, the source of the universe lives and breathes and has its being as us, as me right now. I stay focused in this moment. I bring 100% of my awareness and presence to each and every step, every heartbeat. I am all in. I am always connected. In the stillness of this moment, there is joy. There is joy. In the stillness of this moment, there is joy. So I wait and trust. I keep breathing and I know in the spirit of this moment, there is joy. There is joy.
And when you're ready, you can bring your consciousness back to this space and time-space continuum. We're not limited in any way when we're here on this earth plane. And today's talk is just going to highlight that a little bit. And notice I haven't put the microphone down. Give a singer a microphone, right? They'll never put it down. So I'm just going to talk through today just to see how that feels. And I want to welcome you all. Welcome back. Many of you have been here and there and everywhere throughout the summer and maybe next week too. And once again, if you're just tuning in, remember we're not going to be in person next week, but we will be back in person on September the 11th, which is the food drive pickup day. So if there's anyone you are aware of in your circle of motion who is experiencing food insecurities, please send them our way next week right here at AIAM. We're going to have bags of food. We'll have gluten-free options too, and vegetarian options if people are vegetarian. But the key is we want to help do what we can to alleviate that suffering of food insecurity. So that's 2 weeks from now. But next week, where are we? Anywhere you want to be. It's like Visa. Anywhere you want to be next week. But we will have a live stream on next Sunday at 10 o'clock, so you can tune in YouTube or Facebook, but we will not be in person. I just can't say that enough because sometimes somebody walks out of the room and gets a cup of coffee and comes back and misses it. So we'll see you. So today's talk is taking a step forward. Taking a step forward using all of the strength of our will. So one of the reasons we love starting off with a Qigong practice is because we get to experience what it is like to put the power of our intention. Energy goes where mind flows. Where mind flows, energy goes. And there are all these. It's not new now to us with regard to quantum physics. When we start talking about possibilities, there's a wonderful book written by Dr. Amit Goswami. And I remember his name? We love Amit Goswami because it sounds like, how can you have a bad day when your name cheers you on? Goswami, you gotta be in a good mood, it's birthday. So Dr. Amit Goswami and a number of other physicists, quantum physicists, recognize that in this field of energy, all that exists is potential for all of us. And when we think in a particular way, what ends up happening is, because our thought carries a vibration that is more dense than the possibilities in the field of just pure vibration, like the Om, the Pranava, the divine stream of sound, everything is vibration. But a thought is just one tick below pure potential, depending on the kind of thought and what you generated that thought with. But once you think a thought, out of the entire field of possibility and potential, you collapse that idea into a form. And the more you think that thought, the more likely it is going to show up in your life. You believe that? Okay, some people are like, yeah, maybe not. Yeah, that doesn't mean that you have 100% total control over everything that comes into your field. Sometimes the infinite is thinking something on your behalf. Do you ever say no to a thing 100 times and the universe, the God of the universe is trying to get you to say yes because I want you to have this beautiful thing. And then you end up saying yes to it and you get it. And you think, why was I so resistant to this? Sometimes the unfamiliar thing is the thing we resist. And sometimes the unfamiliar thing is the thing that's trying to show us a different way of stepping forward. So today we're going to explore a couple of things as I move into the invitation and the opportunity to participate in the class I'm offering called The Holy Science. Your book's going to look different than mine. Mine's from he wrote it in the 1800s and mine looks like I've had it that long. I'm older than I look. the holy science. And what this book is going to get us to the end of, at the end of the book, the end game is to realize what the goal of life is anyway. What's the goal of life? Anyone, shout them out.
Find joy.
Find joy.
Live your light.
Live your light or life?
Light.
Light, excellent. What else?
Learn.
Learn? I don't know.
Oh,
What do you think? Music?
Yeah.
I get it. Coffee, music, in that order. No coffee, no life. That's going to be the name of my book. If you had to name the book of your life, that would be like first things first. It's kind of like Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz. Couple sips of coffee and I start seeing colors and everything. It's really nice. The thing is, opening to the possibility of the goal of life is to realize, not just understand that you're connected, but to live in such a way that we become fully realized, living soul qualities every step of every day. The goal of life is to become fully realized that we are always connected and that we pull from opportunities, potentials, like potentiality, the whole thing that we have options on. It doesn't have to be this way. Okay, this is what I have today. It doesn't have to be this way tomorrow. Or maybe it needs to be this way for a week or a couple days. We experience a health challenge. We experience a financial challenge. It doesn't mean that that's the book of your entire life for the rest of your life. It doesn't mean any of that. It also doesn't mean that just because you don't have financial sustenance that you can't find joy anywhere else. We've got lots of examples of masters who have walked the world having what they need at will without accumulating a lot of stuff and a lot of responsibility. It's all in what brings you joy. There's no one way to do it. Can we at least agree on that?
yes.
There's no one way to become fully realized. With that in mind, I was reading a book last night. I was just flipping through a book, that's an older one from Thich Nhat Hanh called Coming Home. And in it, the meaning of love, which is what caught my attention, because I love when we try to, no matter how enlightened we are, to try to put words into the meaning of love. We can't really do it, but what he essentially was getting to was the meaning of love is the meaning of life. And in this book, he was trying to draw the parallels between Christian philosophy and the Buddha. Just like Paramahansa Yogananda's work was drawing likenesses between all of these world religions. And the thing to remember is each one of these enlightened masters who became masters over themselves and fully God realized. That's the point. We each have the same opportunity. They teach us the way they did it, and somebody else teaches you the way they did it, and we can pick and choose. It's like, we can take what works for us and bring it into our existence, into our consciousness, execute the power of our will, direct it with a degree of force and repetition so that it materializes in form as us and starts living through us in a way that uplifts self and other, just by walking into a room. So I'm thinking about not influencing people in your immediate circle so much, which is certainly an option and a beautiful thing to be able to do. But I'm talking about the person you don't even say a word to, or you might see one time in the grocery store. You just walk past them and you can smile. Or just being, I've said this many times, like just being in proximity to someone who's pitched a little higher. You can just help somebody who needs to remember who they are, just by the way you say hello, or you just smile with your eyes. I know there was a lot of smiling with the eyes going on during the pandemic, wearing, masks and things like that. I think what it reminded me of most on a very personal note was how much expression is through the eyes. They're the windows to the soul. And the mouth was covered up, blah, blah, blah. We could smile, and it could be, you'd ever see somebody like on award shows or things, they're taught how to smile and always hold themselves looking beautifully. But if you catch them at the right moment, it's a fake smile. Do you know anybody who does the fake smile thing often? Everybody's quiet now, because I don't want to say it. We've seen it, you know it when you see it. It's not that. But how do you offer your soul smile, putting your soul self in and stepping forward? You have to harness that energy from within and allow it to come through your eyes. And on a personal note, I was saying, when my father was in the process of transitioning, he couldn't really talk anymore. But the gift of that was to be able to look into his eyes like I hadn't. In my whole life, I'd never looked that deeply. I mean, we would stare at each other and talk sometimes. Sometimes he'd stare into my eyes if we were in a place where he had to be quiet and good. You can get that look. Lots of expressions with the eyes. But this was just pure love and gratitude and connection, trying to remember each other. So the gift of eyes is the windows to the soul are always luminous if we can remember who we are, that full realization. So if we had all of these master teachers, you remember the story about guessing, if all the master teachers met in heaven or some lofty vibrational plane, which would be the most powerful? They don't have those conversations because they don't see it like that. That's a human construct, kind of like when you watch the Superpower, the Captain Marvel movies, with all of the superheroes coming together. Which one is the most powerful? It depends on the situation, right? It depends on what you need at the moment. So when I ask about SoulCall, what is your superpower? We used to start, creativity workshops like that. What's your superpower? What's your superpower? Who knows? And if you're not sure, think about that for a minute. What do I bring consistently that seems to be effortless? How do I show up? Pretty much, people would say, this would be my thing. Another way to look at it too, with my Catholic background, there were the patron saints. And in the Hindu philosophy, there were a lot of different deities that represent different things. What would you be the patron saint of? That does two things when you ask a question like that. A superpower sounds a little more aggressive, but if you are the patron saint of something, all of a sudden, psychologically, we just lofted you up onto the vibrational plane of, I'm a saint. You start thinking like that. That was upsetting, I'm sorry. Just thinking like the superpower of music. What is it that you bring that uplifts others on a regular basis? So putting your soul self in, taking a step forward, we can play with the idea of getting a deck of cards and just writing on each one a blank deck of index cards, and choose these soul qualities. Consider yourself king, queen, soul, or they soul, and allow yourself to pull one of these cards, peace. Today, I will live peace. Today, I'm just going to practice peace in all situations. The next day, I'm going to practice joy in all situations. No matter what's going on, Yogananda would say, never let people get your goat. He would say, your goat is your joy, your goat is your peace. If they get your peace, they got you. That's an easy one to slip off of for me sometimes. It's like you really have to focus. Really have to focus. Soul quality of love, which to me goes right along with compassion. To see through the eyes, the soul quality eyes of compassion for what somebody's struggling with and throwing up to you. Sometimes it has nothing to do with you. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But just having compassion that this person's struggling to articulate what it is they're really upset about, or what they need, what they want, or what they're struggling with. But for the grace of the infinite, there I go. That's a really important thing to remember. Practicing the quality of bliss, purity, power, and knowledge. And we're talking about power being the higher power. Recognizing if you can do something in a situation, step forward and say, be willing to be the one that does the thing at the moment. So my rule with that is, and I invite you to try it, is if it's happening right in front of me, pretty sure that's something for me to assist in a way that I can. To do something like the food drives. It's such an easy, obvious way for us to help. There are other ways. There are many ways people are helping. But this is one. Without sustenance, it's really hard to get to a vibrational quality in a human form, because we need nourishment to keep our human forms alive. So recognizing all of these different things, be willing to be whatever's needed in the moment, and by being in tune with the cosmic beloved, God, Goddess, Source, whatever you call it. How do we get in tune? This is where the Wednesday night meditations come in, to just turn off even the distraction of walking through a beautiful garden and listening to the birds and the trees and the fragrance of the flowers. They pull our sensory perceptions, and they're beautiful to enjoy. But in that silence, in the divine silence of the soul, is where we can work on the vibration of who we are and that divine realization. And that's what that whole class is going to talk about. It'll, in a very practical way, it'll address the mind, it'll address the body, moral codes, things for you to think about, not to tell you how to, but things for you to think about and try to incorporate. And just take it into the laboratory of your life is what I like to say. See how it shifts your perception of self and how you experience the world. Everything, Thich Nhat Hanh was saying, everything is relationship. He used that word in one chapter dozens of times. Relationship, relationship. And recognizing we are all connected in love is what he says. There's an invisible umbilical cord which connects us all. So he says, even the stone, like even the pebble, you're connected to the pebble. You're connected to the cloud. You're connected to the rain. You're connected to, without any of this, we couldn't exist either. And without us, that doesn't really exist. It's all relationship. So recognizing that when we're willing to help someone, open your arms and heart to all, rejecting none, with universal love, coaxed from the world to follow on the path to liberation through the example of divine spirit, a sacrifice, I say renunciation, forgiveness, love for friend and enemy alike, and supreme love for God above all else. That's my little description of what that class is about. Shall I read it again? Join me. Open your arms and heart to all, rejecting none, and with universal love, coaxed from the world to follow on the path to liberation through the example of infinite spirit, of sacrifice, renunciation, forgiveness, love for friend and enemy alike, and supreme love for God above all else. Because that's where there ever was a thing called trickle down anything. That's it. And it's not necessarily down, it's like trickle out. The more we get from source, the less tired you are. When we're willing participants in this way, we have unlimited energy. And each one of us has experienced this. Think of a time where you really had to reach back and you were working on something or doing something and hours passed. Past your lunchtime, past your breakfast time, and you had all kinds of energy. You didn't feel like you needed to stop. And you didn't feel hungry, maybe until you stopped. One time, I remember being in the recording studio with 3 fantastic jazz musicians recording our Timeless CD. And these 3 have played together like forever. And so they just had this juice. It was actually Roger Humphreys, Dwayne Dolphin, and Max Leak from Pittsburgh. And just stepping into the energy, it was just like being rocked in the cradle of infinite consciousness around music. It was so juiced. I almost didn't sleep for a day and a half. I was just riding this wave of bliss, of wow, when it comes together like that. It's different than when you can ride the wave of bliss alone, like in meditation with infinite. It's all about relationship. Anybody can be happy and at peace on a mountaintop, you've heard this a million times, or in a cave by yourself, but then take it out into the world. And, you know, it helps us. Sometimes things are brought in just to show us how powerful we are, what we need to pull from our soul qualities to bring forth into the world. And so, like going back to the superpowers and the patron saint of whatever you might be, the idea is to establish these qualities so that they're so fixed as a part of your consistent behavior and your being that you can pull whichever you need at the moment. You can pull it forth. Right now, this needs peace. This needs action. This needs, joy. How do I infuse joy? I was talking, I do grief counseling, and after a certain point, there's got to be a way that we pull ourselves forward from grief. I had to learn this, and I'm still practicing pulling joy, 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 joy. Because without that, you can get stuck. And this book also talks about, he calls them the meannesses of the heart. He doesn't mean mean, but it's a way that you hold on to something of this world that prevents you from experiencing all of it. And grief is one of them. Even though it has its place, it mustn't become an all-consuming thing, because now you're I'd be holding a part of myself back from all of it because of this piece. And there is no separation, but it's just the realization. I needed to get grooved on the realization of that. So it's just like exploring. That's it for me. I'm just being very candid. But each one of us has that thing that we're experiencing that is the invitation for a greater realization of what's possible. I get rid of this, and oh my God, I just opened up a whole, like, I go back to Marie Kondo. If it doesn't express joy, get rid of it. Making room. Get rid of the things that don't really serve you, that you think you need. I think I need this, I'm gonna keep this. You know, travel light. Travel light in the world, especially in your heart. You know, so keeping your heart as wide open as you can possibly do it. So having what you need at will. When I think about all the superpowers, I think of James Bond movies. And when I was growing up, the Wild Wild West, you remember Jim West? He would always have what he needed in the moment. You know, he had to get across some bubbling acid pit. Next thing you know, out of his arm, he has this tiny little pistol and he shoots it across, and it perfectly hits right into and creates a little zip line for him. I think he invented zip lines. And, you know, he just kind of rolls across and he gets across the bubbling acid pit to get Dr. Miguelito Loveless, the little menace of the world. I watched him a few times. I probably memorized some of them too. But the whole point, the thing that I loved the most was that that's so much like God. He had to stop for a minute, think, connect his will to what he had. Or to ask the infinite, what do I need in this moment? Pause. Sometimes we react. You know, if you're playing third base on a baseball team, it's good to be able to react. That's called a hot corner. You don't have too much time to think over there. However, you know, if you're the catcher or the pitcher, you're thinking most of the time. You're setting up the batter with pitches. You're analyzing a situation. But some other places, so know where you are on the field of life. Know where you are in the moment on the field of life and what's necessary in that moment. And our practice is, the goal of life is to become very proficient at almost any place on the field of play that you're placed. You can be there as a divine emissary of light, of love, and peace. So when somebody calls you and the infinite calls you to step forward, you report for duty as a cosmic warrior, as a leader of the light. Knowing that in your spare time, my whole head is tingling right now, you have put forth your time and effort into the goal of life, which is staying connected to Source and remembering to ask, what do you need from me in this moment? I will be that because I am that divine realization. So that's it for the talk part. We're going to sing a song that's going to anchor that. I could have sang that in 3 minutes and you'd have gotten the whole talk piece. But it's fun to talk a little bit. So take this in, like open your hearts. And this is a wonderful song I love, written by my dear friend Michael Gott. It's called I Will Be. One of many, just one life to live. The gifts I have, great and small, I give them all. I give. Simply, purely, from my soul I give. Here I am, a vessel to be used. Whatever spirit needs of me, I will be, I will be, I will be. Here I stand. My heart is here to serve. Wherever love is leading me, I will go,
I will go, I will go. With open heart I love, with open mind I know the truth within me, with open eyes I see the gift unfold. I give this open hand for you to hold. Here I am, a vessel to be used. Whatever spirit needs of me, I will be, I will be, I will be. Whatever spirit needs of me, I will be, I will be. I will be.
You're allowed. No one's gonna kick you out. How lucky are we?
Yeah.
It just changes the whole, just brings it up. It's so nice to be able to sing on Sundays, and
It's
so happy to have you here.
I'm happy to do it. It's
I'll call
fun.
put him on the spot. So, we thank you for joining us this morning. Let everybody know you're in the house. Can you hear how many people are starting to join us? Yeah. Little by little, when we all show up, we're going to be having to move those tables out, and I figured it out. It's like, so join us. We have so much fun when we're here together on Sundays, and there's refreshments and time to meet after. And Linda Coate is offering a really wonderful opportunity for those of you who want spiritual readings. So if you can only do that in person though, so you gotta be here, gotta show up, you gotta play to win. Is that what they say? You gotta show up to win. So thank you for joining us this Sunday. Next week, once again, if you're just tuning in, thank you to all of you who are telling us where you're from out there in Livestream land. And I want to thank Aiden and everybody who sets up this morning. Here, let's hear it for everybody who sets this room up for us. Changes every week. I want to thank Helen and the people at AIAM. Helen makes it possible for us to meet here on Sundays. Thank you, Helen. We appreciate that. Yeah, it takes a village, so we appreciate everyone who's offering their time, talents, and tithes. We thank you for your contributions, your monetary contributions to SoulCall. It keeps live music happening. It keeps us helping others. So your donations are greatly appreciated. And all of you who pitched in for my birthday launch on Facebook, I thank you all. Let's hear it for everyone who, I set the goal at what did I say, 2,000, and then we upped it.
Yeah.
I upped my goal, so I won't say it. And other people raised theirs, and we hit a little over 2,500. So let's say thank you. Yeah, that's really very exciting. So thank you so much. And if you are in need of prayer, please drop us a line at soulcallglobal.org/ actually it's prayers@soulcallglobal.org. We've got a fantastic prayer team. We also send remote healing. It's called Reiki, if you've not heard of it. And we send the energy out through the connection of the light and the universe, and it gets there, and you or your loved ones can really experience that joy. So a couple of great things coming up. One, I want to start with September 13th, for 6 consecutive Tuesdays, the class, The Holy Science. I think we've got a graphic for that. There it is. There's an app for that. The Holy Science. You can sign up for the class at soulcallglobal.org/classes. Right on the homepage, if you click classes and events, you'll find it. But the Holy Science, a fantastic class. We're going to exchange ideas and thoughts about some of the concepts in the book, so it won't just be me top down. I believe in collective wisdom, but I can help us guide. I can tell you what Yogananda and Sri Yukteswar were kind of where they were coming from with these. But the idea is to evolve it, and so we can grow our consciousness together as a conscious global community. So there's that. Very excited about October 14th through the 16th is our Circle of Love gathering. Yeah, it's our first retreat that we're going to do here in Columbus, Ohio, up north in Delaware. The 14th through the 16th. It starts the evening of the 14th, but we have put together a pre-conference event going to Innis Woods. So if you get here at night early on Thursday, we'll have a full day of peaceful, mindful, rich experiences for you to partake of. So more information at soulcallglobal.org and circleoflovegathering.com. We'll have a group mandala. Kathy Roush will be in the house. Natalia Zuckerman, the beautiful music and wisdom of Jack Fowler, and I'll be there, and David Leonard. So, oh, and Jesse Powers. If you're a local person, Jesse Powers is going to join us too. So, thank you. Yeah, and the next thing, very happy to say, the weekend of September 24th and 25th, Reverend Christy Hardwick is going to be right here. Yeah. Christy wrote a book, and it was released just a couple months ago, Radical Self-Tenderness. So she is going to speak about that on Sunday, September 25th. And following the live stream, or SoulCall Sunday Live at 11:30, Christy will have a 90-minute workshop / book signing, just taking you through a process of radical self-tenderness, how to take care, be tender with the self, kind of, in case you missed it. I'm missing something. There's something else. I think I had another graphic. Oh, I know, the food drive. You could go back to the meditation. On Wednesday, every Wednesday night from 7 to 8, it's meditation. I do a kirtan chanting meditation from my music room, my meditation room in my underground layer in Columbus, Ohio. But every third Wednesday of the month, so the next time, September 21st, we will be live and in person with our Wednesday meditation, kirtan chanting and singing at 123 Hyatt's Road. It's now called the Dempsey Event Center. Open to all, come and chant and sing with us. The grounds are incredible. The vibration is wonderfully peaceful. So September 21st is the next one in person. All are welcome. Please spread that news far and wide. And the food drive next week. So once again, we are accepting contributions for the food drive. And the 10th, we're going to be putting them in bags, but September 11th is when we'll be distributing food. So please let everyone know, so that we can get the food out where it needs to go. So I want to thank you all again for tuning in and for being with us live and in person. Once again, thank you, Ben. And remember always, wherever you are on the planet, want to say it with me? You are loved. Peace and blessings. Thank you.
One family, one people, one planet, one love.